a stapler, a CEO's underwear, and a Nintendo Switch 2 for $250,000? Who in their right mind, what crazy lunatic would buy that, even if it's for charity? On this issue of FB4 Alpha, we're going to talk about how all that came to life, including where this New York Post article covers some of the details of that auction. I'm going to talk about the stapler, talk about the whole piece of it, and really break down this entire journey. And the truth is, let's face it, with someone in crypto being the person that purchased it, I know for many of you, maybe even some of you that are listening right now, I assume people in crypto are crazy and whales are insane anyhow. So maybe that's part of why, like, who would be the crazy person to do that? It would be a crypto whale. And for those that are interested, I did break down GameStop and the meme stock and the crypto side of the house in a whole other video that I'll link below as well. But on this one, I want to talk about where FBB4 and the Staplegate that captivated the internet this summer falls into a line. And the truth is, this isn't anything new. We knew for the last year or so, actually probably a little bit longer, that FBB4 was heavily into the GME GameStop on Ethereum, or GME on Ethereum meme coin. And we, of course, had the thesis on it. There was lots of buzz. The token had taken off. The community is definitely thriving. But really where I think a lot of you maybe even heard of maybe FBB4 for the first time, maybe even GameStop connection to the meme coin and that world for the first time, happened to do with that stapler. And well, if you're my age, a millennial, this meme hits home about this stapler and how it came to life. I'll cover the history of the stapler and why I think it's important in the marketing of it, and then FBB4's piece of the pie. But really, it started with an employee stapling receipts to the outside of a Nintendo box for the Switch 2 box when they were being purchased, and it was actually damaging the screens, which is wild to think about in the whole grand scheme of things. It started a trend where people were taking pictures of unboxing this. They've been finally waiting for their Nintendo Switch 2 to come. And of course, now there's the screen having issues. GameStop came out addressing it. They're working on the refunds. And typical GameStop, Ryan Cohen, meme stock fashion, they didn't just say, hey, we're going to do refunds and bite the bullet. They got creative and decided, hey, what if we auction off that stapler and donate that money to charity? You could talk about this being a genius marketing play and taking something they had like a bad press where it's just, hey, sometimes employees do crazy things or things they don't think about. That's just the way it works. Hey, let's actually take this to the next level and auction it off. Not only did they want to auction off that, but Ryan threw in and said, hey, if this thing gets to 6 figures, which I remember seeing this tweet, who's going to buy the stapler for 6 figures? He's going to throw in his own underwear, which, hey, we're memers and a creative way of making it all happen. Of course, it hit 6 figures, and then companies like Fast Company took on talking about the buzz around not only taking this from a marketing perspective and turning it into an auction for charity, but it's got 6 figures now, right? And now the underwear are included in the puzzle. Hey, now you get the underwear and the stapler and the Nintendo Switch, and all the money goes to charity. We were laughing about it here within the GameStop and the GME Ethereum community. We were tracking it on eBay as it was starting to get momentum. Ryan even said, okay, we hit the 100,000 mark. If it gets to 7 figures, I'm going to throw in some additional things, which I think is pretty creative. I also think 7 figures would have been really insane and something we probably wouldn't even have thought about. But one of the last bids in the last couple of minutes came in for $250,000. The auction was set. It was in the summer there. And then I think it was like the last 4 or 5 minutes, we saw a bid come in, kind of sniped in there at that $250,000 mark, which to me was mind blowing. I didn't think it was going to get 6 figures. Then it got $250,000 from that side. And I'll tell you, if you're on X or Reddit and you're part of the GameStop world, the speculation, the buzz around this was like, wait a second, who bought it? And there was rumors of, is it Warren Kitty? What is it all about? And they were talking about it on the GameStop Reddit subreddit page. They went into, it was getting news coverage. It was trending on Twitter for multiple days. I think Ryan Cohen was even talking about it on the news. And then we got this tweet. And that was the first time that I was like, ooh, because there were some people, and I give you a shout out, those of you in the GameStop GME community, that were already speculating that maybe FBB4 had something to do with the stapler. No, I actually thought it was just him announcing, hey, the stapler had been purchased. There's a winner. I really wasn't sure how to connect those dots. Did the FBA really, was he that winning bid? And then lo and behold, we get the announcement on Instagram. We get an IG story. They talk about this anonymous winner best known as FBB. FBB4, we got the announcement on his Twitter page as well, which I'll tap into in a second. We actually got our first look at FBB behind his avatar, and the community in GameStop is pretty wild. They were trying to figure out, like, look at his shoes, look at his wrist. How does that compare to videos with Warren Kitty? Or how is that ones with Vitalik's best friend? Or all these rumors about who he was. But the New York Times article also had an interesting interview spot where they were talking to him on the PR side. And overall, I thought it was an interesting development, the buzz that emerged out of it. But then there was this conversation that came out, was like, wait a second, that's a lot of money for just someone that is a whale in the meme coin. And there was a conversation around, is 3-4 also in GME, the stock? How does that world all come together? And then we saw this a couple of days later after the announcement, where not only did FBB purchase and donate to charity $250,000 for the stapler, the underwear, and the Nintendo Switch, and flew up to New York for the event, but then he added on another $100,000 donation to the charity, to the hospital, showed proof of a $100,000 purchase of the game stock, which I think solidified like this conversation where the thesis is, and what I believe FBB4 stands for as a whale, is it's not about crypto versus the stock market, not about crypto versus Robinhood, or trying to be like the next phase of the short squeeze or whatever it may be. I think this is like a much deeper, bigger play. And if you understand the thesis is, definitely go check out FBB4's Twitter account. You'll know that it's much deeper than just that. And $350,000 of donation, $100,000 worth of stock that was purchased, on top of being one of the largest holders in GameStop, the meme coin, the GME, Ethereum. And so I think that whole thing is just really an interesting piece of this puzzle. And I'll say the part that jumped out at me is from the FBB4 post. He posted on there, he said, I bought the stapler. My feeling is that conviction isn't just a position, it's a belief in the story you're willing to carry forward and stand behind, even if it weighs less than a pound and fits in a display case. There's something interesting about the fact that the auction proceeds went to the Children's Miracle Network. A crypto whale and stock whale purchased it, but it also doubles down in FBB4's greater mission, right? I believe, there's also charity aspect with a whale, with a well in Africa. FBB has been investing in what their wallet is all about. And so to me, this is another example of crypto maturing. The entire space is really growing, but even more so than that, when you're looking to trust people, you're looking to understand people's convictions, it's more than the simple play. What Ryan Cohen did with the stapler itself is genius when it comes to marketing, growth hacking, changing the narrative, bringing people into the conversation. Lord knows what he's going to do with the billions in cash that he has with GameStop. The most recent quarter announcement came out, and those were amazing as well. But I think when you have investors like FBB4 making big time plays that are much bigger than themselves, I think it's definitely a game changer and changes the conversation. Now, the question is, where will FBB4 put that stapler? Where will the Ryan Cohen underwear go? Has he unboxed the Nintendo Switch, or is he leaving it in the case? I guess we'll just learn and find out. I'll probably be talking about it here on FBB4 Alpha, where I'm doing these videos each week talking about everything FBB4, the people's whale, the ethical whale. For me, I think this is going to be a fun journey. I know there was lots going on in the crypto market this week. These episodes moving forward are going to talk about what is going on in FBB, but also what are some of the things happening in the big plays that he's a part of with Pepe Coin and Book of Ethereum, CAC, and K-pop. And there's some other things that are going on there. So make sure you follow the FBB4 account over there on Twitter, and make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and this playlist, as I'll be bringing you these videos each and every week. I'll also be dropping them over there on X. And the crazy guy who decided to make that purchase of that stapler happened to be an ethical whale doing big things in the crypto space, the stock space, and really even redefining what does it mean to be ethical in crypto.